Hello, this is Dan Nowman Niswander, and I am here at the family home of the Van Halens here in Pasadena, California. Very modest looking home here behind me, and it is turning into a shrine. It's definitely a national landmark. And of course, many are all around the world are coming here to mourn the death of guitarist Eddie Van Halen. And it's interesting to me that he had such humble beginnings and very modest house. Van Halen started in the garage behind, and they went to school here in Pasadena. The Van Halens went to Pasadena High School. David Lee Roth went to Muir High School. And there's a pretty funny picture actually in the lobby of the high school on the alumni wall when you first walk in the front door, I have to say that. But the Van Halen brothers also went to Pasadena City College, which is right down the street here. So they probably walked to school. Their mother is from Indonesia and their father is from the Netherlands. So they came here as immigrants. They didn't speak English. Amazing story, very humble story, humble beginnings. Their mother insisted that the brothers learn how to play music, be trained, because their father was obviously professionally trained. And so they went to Pasadena City College, and I have some personal experience having worked there. So I could easily imagine the two brothers being there at the music school, hanging out in the quad, that kind of thing. One time I was in Truncas Market parking lot. I was actually boogie boarding with a friend. We were in Malibu that particular day, and he went into the store, and I stayed in the car. And on the other side of where we were parked in the parking lot, there was a Cherokee Jeep, and Eddie, and I believe it was Sammy Hagar's son, came out of the store and got into the Jeep and drove off. But I smiled at Eddie. He smiled back, and I think I might have waved at him. I was on the passenger side, and they were on the other side, parked next to our car. So I have those stories.
There's a little memorial here to Eddie Van Halen, not too far from the family home where he lived.
That ain't it. I didn't even run it.
Carved into wet cement in front of Eric's box. This is the liquor store where the band would come in and get their stuff before they went back home to practice here on Allen Avenue. Still here.
Band dramas are not unusual, and certainly Van Halen is no exception. Those of us who are fans of music as well and follow certain bands, we are familiar with certain stories associated with our favorite bands. We all know the Beatles. Well, those who follow the Beatles more intensely know about Yoko Ono always hanging out in the studio, and the issues George Harrison had trying to get more of his songs in the band. And then, of course, the Paul is Dead thing on the Abbey Road cover with the bare feet, and like the rumors that he had died, or what's really going on. What's the difference between the fact and the fiction? It's not always clear, and it's used for marketing purposes as well to sell product, right? So it's nothing unusual. In the case of Van Halen, we know about the issues with David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, and there's questions about did they quit, were they fired? But I can confirm a fact actually associated with one of those dramas. When David Lee Roth left the band, apparently Eddie Van Halen was pretty bummed out about it, and he had to bring his Lamborghini for repairs here. This place is now out of business, but it's been here as recent as the 2000s. It was called Pilates, and they would surface high-end foreign automobiles. And he brought his Lamborghini here. Somebody at Pilates could tell he was kind of bummed out. Something was different, and Eddie said that, yeah, my singer just left the band, as in David Lee Roth. And somebody said, well, you know, Sammy Hagar is a customer here. Why don't you call Sammy Hagar and invite him into the band or something, you know? And so apparently the phone call could have happened here, but the exchange of that information did happen here. Even Sammy Hagar has confirmed that that's how they met, was basically through a connection at Pilates. So it's always interesting to get actual stories and to be on location to tell you the stories. And of course, this is Pilates in Pasadena, California. Had to come here and pay tribute and to think of the amazing guitar work of Eddie and just the brilliance of how he built his original guitar. He became friends with Les Paul, and you can just see the two of them nerding out on being innovative and building things, as well as experimenting with different ways to record and make incredible sounds with guitar. So many wonderful stories are coming in. A documentary is being made. So I had to come here and pay tribute to Eddie, since long overdue. And of course, the music lives on forever, and many people were impacted by his work on Michael Jackson's Beat It, which was actually Michael Jackson's biggest hit. And that had a lot to do with the sound of Eddie Van Halen's guitar on that song. So this is Niswander from the family home of Eddie Van Halen and also his brother Alex. Stay present in the moment, always.
Thank you, senor. Was it me? No.
But I think he's going through something right now.
Of course.
All these records were made at Sunset City and a lot of the Sunset Boulevard. Sure. What a sound! Ted Templeman produced, and you know we're paying tribute. This is the Van Halen family home right here, and we can't get enough of these stories because from humble beginnings they obviously dreamed really big. So guess what?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I know a lot of bands, and
There's a million players in their bedrooms dreaming about that.
Maybe the right place, right time, and he just went for it. That's what he wanted to do. I seen Roth talking to him, and Roth don't be quiet, so he's just like looking at Roth and Eddie, will we have done it? He goes, "This is all I know to do." That's all we do.
Yeah, and that was the combination of everybody in the band, including Michael Anthony.
Oh, good backup vocals.
Hello, this is Niswander. Welcome to the Nowman Show. I am here with Lindsay Blake. She's the founder of IamNotAstalker.com website, which she dubs as your definitive source for filming locations. She's also a contributing editor to Discover Los Angeles and also Los Angeles Magazine, correct?
Yep.
So, Lindsay Blake, welcome to the Nowman Show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about your website.
So I write about filming locations, and I started it in November of 2007. So a ways back now, and I cover filming locations mainly in Los Angeles, but when I go on vacation to Hawaii or New York, I will write about those locations too.
And there are film locations there in Hawaii too.
Yep.
I've been to some of them.
Yep. So.
Well, let's look at a few locations,
Okay.
shall we?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
What is it we're looking at right now?
So this is Andy's Coffee Shop in Pasadena, and it's on Colorado Boulevard, and it's been there since the 30s, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I never knew of its existence till I live in Palm Springs now, and
Wow.
I have for 3 years, and I only just discovered this, which is shocking because it's kind of a Pasadena staple.
Exactly. It's funny, I've lived here a while too, and I didn't know about this place, but I do have this visual in my head. I remember seeing the outside.
Yes, that when I first
know?
looked at Google Maps and saw that outside, I was like, I know I've driven past there, and I
Yep.
don't know why I never went in.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we just went recently. It's really good.
Is it really?
Really
Excellent.
good, yeah. And the owner's so friendly.
And it's so perfect for a film location.
Right?
What was shot in there?
A bunch of stuff. A season 4 episode of Mad Men was shot in there.
Cool.
It's with the actresses who are fighting over the sugar baked ham. That episode.
Well, you really are a fanatic for yeah.
Anna Kendrick's Cups music video was filmed in there, and they even used the back kitchen.
What are we looking at here?
This is a Father of the Bride house.
Oh, cool.
Probably one of Pasadena's most famous filming locations.
You know, someone who I met by the name of Cindy Williams, actually, who's an actress.
The sister of.
She played in Laverne and Shirley.
Oh.
She was the one that came up with the idea to Steve Martin.
You're kidding.
She's the one. If you look at the packaging, she's the She is credited as an executive producer.
That's so exciting. It was such a great movie.
That's a story, personal story she told me.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So that's the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's right on El Molino.
What else do we have?
The Gamble House.
This is probably one of the most famous locations in Pasadena right here.
Right.
Which
It's
is-
famous architecturally for one thing because it's the
Yeah.
Green and Green brothers who designed it. But Doc Brown's house from Back to the Future.
Yeah, we all remember that,
Yep.
like the front door, and
And the garage where his workshop was. It's
yes,
just
exactly.
next door, yeah.
All of that's right there.
And only the outside was actually used in Back to the Future. The inside is another Green and Green house called the Blacker House, and it's also in Pasadena.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's privately owned. But the Gamble House you can actually go in because it's a museum.
That's fantastic. It's over by the Rose Bowl, right?
Yeah,
In that
on
area
Westmoreland. Have you been in it?
I've not been in it.
Because you love Back to the Future, right?
Well, I like that movie a lot. Yeah.
You should go. It's a great tour. You can't take any pictures, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the bad part. But it's really neat to see the inside
So
of it.
there were no internal shots.
No, because
right?
the Gamble House, they're really careful about
see.
letting people in and film a film crew. It's such a
understand.
major production with the cameras, and they're on wheels, and they didn't want anything potentially destroyed, so they wouldn't let them film in it. So
Cool.
they went to
Yeah.
another really similar looking house.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, what is it we're looking at here now?
That's Occidental College in Eagle Rock,
Hmm.
and that was used as CU, California University on Beverly Hills 90210, and as Bronson Alcott High School on Clueless, the movie Clueless. So.
Clueless. I didn't see that movie. No, I didn't see that
That's
movie.
one of my favorite movies ever.
Wow.
I feel like you need to go home tonight and rent that movie.
Is it really?
It's streaming on Netflix.
Oh, is it really?
And it's not just a girls' movie. I recommended it to a guy recently, and he was like, I don't know why you never watched this. It's
That's
so
funny.
good. Such a great movie.
And what is this we're looking at here? This
That's
is
also
more
part of Occidental.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Clueless used pretty much every square inch of that place, and they also
Wow.
used Grant High School in Van Nuys.
Wow.
But that was only for in like the classroom and a hallway scene, and everything else, the tennis courts, even Josh's girlfriend's dorm, which wasn't supposed to be a part of the high school, that can be found on the Occidental campus.
Look at that. For people that are fans of Michael Jackson, what is this?
The Thriller house.
Wow.
The house he runs up
And
into.
does it still look like that?
Yeah, this is a pretty recent picture. It's been under renovation since I moved to LA in 2000. I mean, I visited it that year and it looked like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's still very much a haunted looking house.
Did they shoot the internal? That was in a
That was all on a
soundstage?
soundstage, so it was
Yeah.
only the exterior.
Wow.
But you see him; he runs up the steps, and she runs up, scared of the zombie
that's
Michael,
right,
and then he
that's
follows her with all the zombies.
That's fantastic. And what is this?
This is where they filmed the zombie dance in Thriller.
Wow.
It's
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and
you can still go there today and see. And isn't the side of the wall there still visible in the video?
It's exactly the
wow.
same. I mean, nothing has changed. It's frozen in time. It's so
and that's
exciting.
In Boyle Heights, right?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
It's just in kind of like an industrial warehouse area. And when I went, I was, of course, recreating
of course. Who wouldn't
How
do that,
can you
right?
not? And all the workers, they had like no clue that they're somewhere historic, and they're
Wow,
looking
that's
at us like, what are you doing?
Wow.
It's like Thriller was shot here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this?
This is probably my favorite location ever. That's the Walsh House from Beverly Hills 90210 in Altadena.
So Beverly Hills 90210 was your favorite show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, absolutely obsessed with it.
And this, so this is you.
That's me in front of the house.
The Walsh House.
Yep.
They were the twins, right?
Yeah, Brandon and Brenda Walsh. And actually, the real life twins lived there.
Oh,
They're
really?
grown now, but
Wow.
because the same man still owns it, that owned it when 90210 was filmed. But
interesting.
So when the location scout went, he was really interested in the fact that twins in high school at the time lived there, and also they kind of modeled the set after the house, because the shared bathrooms that Brandon and Brenda had, that's how the real house looks.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lindsay Blake,
Thank
for
you
being
for
on
having
the
me.
Nowman Show. So Lindsay Blake from IamNotAstalker.com. Hello, this is Niswander, and I am at the original location of a famous film scene, actually many scenes of a 30-minute talkie from 1932. It was directed by Hal Roach, and it starred Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. It was called The Music Box. It basically focused on this, the music box, which actually even has some sound effects in it. They were hired by a wealthy person who lives in a house at the top of these stairs to move this piano all the way to the top of 133 stairs, and all the different scenarios that happen in the process of making that happen. It's quite hilarious. If you get a chance to see it, it's called The Music Box. This is actually now called the Music Box Steps. It's a national landmark, and I'm here today to celebrate Laurel and Hardy, also with the 20th anniversary of the Music Box Steps Festival here across the street here from Laurel and Hardy Park, which is a great annual neighborhood event bringing a lot of different people together, and it's just great to actually be able to be here on the original location of this film. Now, most of the scenes not only were shot on this property, which was an open field on this side, but most of the scenes were actually filmed right here on the spot where I am standing, so that makes it even more interesting and more amazing. And if you ever get a chance to come to Hollywood, be sure to check out the Music Box Steps. So I'm going to go up the steps here and check it out further. I'm here with
Chris Spiker.
Okay, Chris, where are you from?
I'm from Lancaster, California.
I'm assuming you built this.
You know, a buddy of mine built it for me. I wanted to be in a parade. I'm a follower of Laurel and Hardy. I belong to one of their tents up in North Hollywood. So we've used it twice. It was at these steps for the International Convention in July, Laurel and Hardy Convention.
Excellent.
And then we put wheels on it and rolled it down our parade for our fair in September. So today I brought it down, and I'm excited to have the actors play with the box a little bit.
Well, that's fantastic. It is a great film. It reminds us of a day that's not here, but we can still actually stand in the exact spot where these scenes actually really happen. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, it's history and it's community. And the reason I built the box, we have something called AV Nice, Antelope Valley Nice, kind of like Minnesota Nice. Nice people, nice stories, and so just entertaining people, making friends, doing something a little out of the ordinary, just like this festival today, meeting you, hooking up, interviewing each other. That just makes the world a better place and helps us enjoy the neat people in it.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing the Music Box.
My pleasure.
Hello, this is Niswander, and I am at a location where many scenes have been shot for film and some television for over 100 years, including some scenes in two of my favorite films, one which is probably my all-time favorite film. This is the Eva Scott Famous Mansion. It's in North Pasadena, California. The first film shot here was a silent film from director D.W. Griffith in 1910. He is, of course, best known as the namesake of the famous park here in Hollywood called the Griffith Park, home of the Griffith Park Observatory and the Los Angeles Zoo. In 1918, the famous cowboy actor Tom Mix did a silent film here. Television scenes have been done here as well, including The West Wing and scenes from a TV movie back in the 70s on the lives of Eleanor and Franklin Roosevelts. More recently, other films such as Mirror Cracked in 1981 with stellar cast of Rock Hudson, Elizabeth Taylor, Angela Lansbury, and Kim Novak. And even The Social Network in 2010, Jesse Eisenberg and Justin Timberlake. And probably my all-time favorite film, Being There, with Peter Sellers, Shirley MacLaine, Melvin Douglas, and Jack Warden. This is Niswander, speaking to you from Famous Mansion in North Pasadena, California. Here in Pasadena, the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. Behind me here, there's also the Pasadena Convention Center on either side of me. This is an historic spot as far as I'm concerned in my own life. I spent a lot of time here, did a lot of work here, one kind or another. Had very interesting experiences here. I'll start with the Pasadena Convention Center. With the Nowman Show, I covered Politicon, the unconventional political convention, comedy and serious and entertainment, all kind of a mixture. In 2015, the debut one was in Los Angeles, but here also I covered the convention in 2016 and 2017 that took place here. I interviewed John Fugelsang,
Jink Uger,
Ann Coulter,
Ed Asner, Christina Tobin,
the comedy team of Bernie versus Trump.
And we're going to make sure to pay ourselves so much. I'm going to make so much money off of this. It doesn't matter if I win. It doesn't matter if I win.
And more.
The problem is when you believe that a talking snake is real, but Christ saying love your enemies was just metaphor.
And here, my first experience at the Civic Auditorium was actually in 1984 at the Olympics Arts Festival. I came to see the dance troupe of Twyla Tharp. And Twyla is most known for her work choreographing the musical Hair, also the movie Amadeus, and she worked with David Byrne and the Talking Heads on the Catherine Wheel project. And the show that I saw here, the first half was basically ballroom type of dance to Sinatra songs. The second half, though, was kind of avant-garde with the music of electronic musician, percussionist David Van Halen, and all the moves were based on Olympic event moves, or for instance, track and field, swimming, etc. Very interesting and innovative. And in the last 10 years, I would say, in the 2000s, I was on my way home and just happened to catch Bill Clinton getting ready to speak here at the auditorium, walking into the side entrance. He was only visible maybe for 10 seconds and he waved to us. That's all I'll say about that. My most recent experience here, which was incredible, happened March the 7th, 2020. I was on the stage performing in front of thousands of people and the judges, of course, including Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, Heidi Klum, and of course, Sofia Vergara. That's a quote of hers. The first episode of season 15 of America's Got Talent. That was a great experience. And yep, right here on the stage, March the 7th. Once again, I have to say thank you to Simon Cowell for that opportunity and for the encouragement as well. Very popular presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, who ran for president in 2016 and 2020. Senator Bernard Sanders, I should say, from Vermont, had a big rally here at the convention center as well. Old Route 66, Colorado Boulevard, the main street in Pasadena, which for over 125 years has been the home of the Tournament of Roses Parade. Of course, there's also the infamous Rose Bowl game and Rose Bowl Stadium north of here. And in 2021, for the first time in those many years, it will not be running along Colorado Boulevard. No floats covered with beautiful flowers and organic materials, and not millions of people on the streets. Pasadena is also the home of two world-class athletes. Most people know of Jackie Robinson, but also his brother, Mac. Pasadena City Hall has been around for a long time and can be seen in numerous productions, including the infamous Columbo episode with Peter Falk and his guest Patrick McGoohan. And in the 1940s, in the final scene of The Great Dictator with Charlie Chaplin doing his very infamous speech, and you can see that iconic tower in the background. Another historic spot. This happens to be some classic cars here on display today outside of City Hall. My father would definitely love this, that's for sure. Love you, Dad.
And Friday night, March the 6th, well, until probably about 9 o'clock at night or so, I was actually at the Civic Auditorium, backstage working with America's Got Talent to get ready for Saturday. And literally, by coincidence, however you want to say it, it was incredible that just happened to be the night that the Bowie Celebration Band with Mike Garson was playing across the street at the Rose Club. So I went over there right after I was finished in the Civic Auditorium, bought a ticket, and the show started not long after. And it was an incredible weekend, including that too.